that part is just kind of get you to make the noise, the breath to make you realize how to make the breath audible. The breath is all this in and out through your nose. So you just inhale deeply through your nose so you can hear the breath. So it's just a nice, long, slow, deep inhale. And you hold on to the breath, retain the breath, and lock your chin down to your chest. And then you bring your chin up and exhale the breath all the way out, emptying your lungs and pushing your belly all the way in and out through your nose, though.
In and out through the nose.
Yep.
Hold it. Tuck the chin into the chest.
And then bring your chin up and exhale.
While I'm holding, right? And then I bring my chin up, and then I exhale, but I'm exhaling through the nose.
In and out through the nose.
In and out through the nose. And then you said something very important. The belly. So many people breathe from the chest. Remind us the importance and how that factors into this.
Yeah, because most of you... Go ahead, Abba.
I mean, your lungs are shaped like teardrops, and if you are just breathing into your chest, you're only filling up 10% of your lung capacity with oxygen. And when you do the belly breathing and you kind of think that your belly is like a balloon and you're filling air up into that balloon, which is your stomach, that'll make sure that you get more oxygen in to your lungs. So that's the real reason why you want to be breathing in and out deeply and filling your stomach up with air on the inhale, and on that exhale, really squeeze your belly button in, get all that stale carbon dioxide out. And then also they found that the exhale gets out ruminating thoughts as well, which kind of takes away from being present.
Wow, this is really. I'm thank you for this. I mean, my basic breathing technique at this point was like the one that's commonly talked about for 4-7-8. I know you've heard about it. And I kind of like made up my own, which was like the 3-4-7, which was like you inhale for 3, hold for 4, release for 7. But my question is, how long do you hold? When we do this particular breathing technique, how long do we hold?
However long is comfortable for you. It's from person to person. Like eventually you'll go to a 1-to-4 to 2 ratio, but I mean that's like down the line if you're advanced with your breath. But I mean, all you want to do is hold it for as long as you comfortably can, so you don't have to rush. So like if you inhale, you hold the breath, you exhale out, you have to inhale right away. You know that you held your breath for too long, so it should be a relaxed exhale and then a relaxed inhale after that. And that's how you know you haven't held your breath for too long. Sleep. You just want to sleep. We're actually doing a sleep workshop on Zoom through the Involution group called the Pajama Jammy Jam.
When is this going down? When is this going down? Is there a website for this? Tell me where to look this up.
So if you go to the Involution group website,
how do you spell that? Go ahead.
www.THEINVOLUTIONGROUP.com. Go to our website and you can get information on the Pajama Jammy Jam. And it's going to be on March 18th at 7 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be for 2 hours.
I'm definitely going.
We're going to show you stuff to help you sleep a lot better. And actually, before that, we're going to have like a VIP happy hour from 6:30 to 7. We're going to do a signature drink. We're going to have a contest for the best pajamas. So it's going to be fun. And you're going to learn a lot. So, yeah, just check out the involutiongroup.com.
Okay, I'm on the website right now. The Involution, I'm saying that on purpose, Involution group, which I love this because it's a play on words. I just picked up on what you're doing. Like, not the evolution, the involution. Got it. Smart. Love it. That's dope. Which one of these things? So you got the handmade malas, you got meditation coaching, breathwork coaching. Is it on here? I don't see it.
It's gonna be on there under workshops.
Okay, cool.
We just announced it today, so it'll be up there.
So that's where we
go
look
under workshops. You'll find it there. Yeah.
Yeah, or just drop in your email address right there as well, and you can be updated on all that good stuff. All right, that's cool, man. I'm trying to be there, and I'm actually trying to be in the top 3 of this pajama contest as well. I'm trying to win some.
I'm coming for it too. I'm trying to win too, Mario.
I got some serious pajamas, bro. Really good, man. Y'all better be ready. All right, let's go to the questions. Let's see. We have Yolanda, Nancy, Danielle, and Kay hanging out. So let's get Yolanda. Yolanda, what's your comment or question?
Hey guys, how you doing? I'm here in Detroit, Michigan.
Detroit.
What's up? Good to hear you.
Hey, I'm new to this meditation. It's something I want to get started in, and something I actually want to try to bring to the youth here in Detroit. Where should I start?
So I would say two things for you guys. Can you answer one? Like, is there something small that she can just start to do on that's easy? And two, is there a way that you all can actually work with her with like your programs? Could she be a facilitator to get your programs into other schools? Do you offer things like that?
I mean, one simple thing that she can start doing is maybe even search YouTube or for how to do a deep belly breath. Because, once again, the breath is a foundation for everything that we teach. If you can learn to find inner peace and grounded and being present with the breath, that's something that's always with you, portable. And then two, like Ali was saying, we do a workshop with the Omega Institute where we teach people how to teach engagement techniques, practicality of the practice and all that every summer. And then we also have a satellite program that we launched last summer that is in the Mohawk territory of Akwesasne that's going really well, where we send 2 of our senior staff to that local city or to that city. They go in there and model the work for an entire year and the different demographics that we work with in Baltimore, elementary, middle, high, drug rehab, senior centers, and all that stuff, just being of service. And we identify some youth leaders from that community, because one thing Ali always says, the best solutions are homegrown solutions. So, they'll get on-the-job training by training and working with our staff. And also, a lot of people think you can go to a training and you'll come back out like a weekend training and you'll be the greatest teacher in the world. Yeah, you'll have some skills, but one thing that we've noticed is you have to have a deep personal practice. So along with us sending our staff out there to work in the various school systems or whatever, they also develop a personal practice with our youth leaders or young leaders every single day, just to kind of build up that personal practice. And after that year, we bring our staff back, and there's a satellite location of H. We plan to duplicate that in other cities as well.
Thank you. So can I reach out to one of you guys?
Yes.
One of you?
Yeah, you can reach out. Either email is my name, HLF, Harry Larry Frank, INC.org, or like Ali was saying, DM me, find me on Instagram and DM me there.
Okay, thank you. I'll do that. Thank you, guys.
You're welcome.
Mario, you on mute if you're talking.
Oh, I was talking too, bro. I was just saying, Yolanda, thank you so much for being such a, an active member of your community, much like, Baltimore, Detroit's big city too. And we appreciate you making that a priority for you to try to do something that makes some change in the neighborhood and in the community. So I just want to say thanks for that.
Thank you. I just want to say that, I come from a crazy background, and I broke the cycle with my son, and I want to be able to help show others how to do that. My mom died when I was 1 from heroin abuse. My father was older. He wasn't there. He passed when I was 7. By the time I was 8, my older brother, who is 9 years older than me, prison and did a 20-year bid. And he used to send me checks home over the years. And I was a little naive, to what was going on. And eventually figured it out by the time I was in high school, what we were doing. And like I said, I really overcame the odds. I broke the cycle with my son. He's 21. He is amazing. He's amazing. And I want to be able to help others. Everyone has told me I have a story, tell my story, help others. And it's just like, well, I'm not doing anything different other than just surviving. I don't know where to start.
Well, start small. Don't make it too big for yourself that you don't actually take some steps and take action. So, it's number one, recognizing that your lived experience is your expertise. Like the fact that you've actually lived through an experience and the experiences that you lived through is your expertise. So nobody can take that away from you. You've gone through that lived moment. You've gone through those lived experiences. And now you have an expertise about that. And that's proven in the outcome of your 21-year-old son who's just doing phenomenally well. So you do have a gift. You do have a talent. You do have something that's there. You have an incredible story that people will be able to relate to. The more vulnerable you can be with that story and transparent, the more people will come out to support you because they are thinking the same thing, but they don't want to talk about it as easily. So as you get more courageous and more comfortable with speaking about that, you're going to find more and more people are willing to try to help support you and are looking to you for some guidance. And I would just figure out how to start small. And maybe you start with just a couple of kids in the neighborhood. Maybe you identify a school that you went to. Maybe you find a teacher. Maybe you find somebody that's in the school system that's kind of working towards these things or already has something happening where you can bring your story. I would start there. Like go to meetup.com would be a place that I would search because you can search meetup.com to find things for like after school programs or things for at-risk youth or things for inner city kids. And maybe you can just offer yourself up to share your story. And then as you start to learn about some of these techniques that you're hearing here, definitely I would follow with the Holistic Life Foundation because they can help start to educate you and train you on how you can actually start having some formalized ways that you could actually start putting some programs or some trainings and some things into action. But it just starts with what you just did today, coming up on a stage, asking the question, and then taking some information and starting to take some action from it. So thank you for that. That's big.
Thank you.
Yeah, don't devalue what you just did because that takes a lot of guts and it takes a lot of credit, a lot of heart to do it. And now all you got to do is just keep taking small action every day. You're going to look up in 6 months and you're going to be like, wow, we're really making some impact to some people. So keep going. Nancy, what's up with you, Nancy? How are you? Welcome to the stage. You got Nancy. Let me see. Let me pull the refresh. Make sure I got this right. Nancy, Danielle, Kay, Nico, Tim, Sonia. All right, we got some people to talk to. So let's make it happen. But Nancy, what's up?
Hi, guys. Thank you so much for inviting me to this room. I think this was definitely necessary for me. I'm a real estate broker, and if you guys know, that is a stressful industry. And I believe it was Robert who said that stress is necessary. I do believe stress is necessary in my life for me to do and reach the heights that I want to reach. However, I do feel sometimes that it's too much busyness in my head. It's almost like I wake up into work and I go to sleep into work. So it's like my brain never shuts down. It is constantly going. I'm constantly going. So I really would like to figure out some small step and move towards quieting myself. And that's it. I just need a little bit of quiet in my brain.
So I think that's a great question because it's one that a lot of people struggle with. I think the one thing that you have to notice is like the brain is made to make thoughts. Like the purpose of the mind is to generate thoughts. Like thoughts are constantly going to be going through there, but you have to know where to find the stillness. I think that most people don't know that like if you watch your thought waves, they're like troughs. They go up and they go down and they go up and they go down. But the bottom of those troughs, there's a pause between those thoughts. So like if you actually watch your thoughts and at the end of a thought, if you watch for the next thought to form, you'll notice that there's stillness there. And the stillness will be there as long as you can handle it. And then another thought will pop up and you watch that one to its completion. And at the end of that one, if you watch it for the next thought to form, you'll notice that there's stillness between every single thought. And then once you notice that stillness is there, you can start to cultivate it and make it longer and longer and longer. But it's a process. But I mean, there's definitely stillness there. We don't recognize it. We don't know how to find it. And we usually try to spend all of our time fighting with our mind and blocking thoughts out. When you try to block the thoughts out, it makes more thoughts rush in. You just have to work with your mind and be where the stillness is.
May I add to that, please?
Yeah, go ahead. Who's that? Sonia?
Thank you, Mario, and everyone else for allowing me to speak and be here. So, just adding to that, definitely, you're absolutely right, and that the space in between the one and the second thought is the gap. And that's where we connect with our higher self. And going in stillness is the hardest part And of course, being in the stressful level, it is necessary because it pushes us to do more than our standard and basic foundation. It pushes us to enlighten and do better. So when we're able to get into the gap, the stillness, the moment of silence, that's when we connect with our pure potential, and we're able to create from within and in ourselves, which is a true essential of creativity, and we're able to evolve in a pure essence. So that's the gap, and being in that space is essential, and we are able to do that not in just a way of just sitting and meditating, because I think the misconception has been that meditation requires you to sit and be in stillness and peace. With the modern age and now day to day, we're able to meditate even, walking or just with breath work, which is the foundation of meditation. So just being able to sit quietly for even 2 minutes and focusing on our breath and from our diaphragm, from our belly, it just connects you with that gap and your silence, and you're able to relieve that stress. So I just wanted to add that there.
Ooh. Thank you, Sonia. Can I add one more thing? Because I do realize that as I was listening to what Atman, I believe that's how you pronounce your name, Atman, said earlier about the exercise he did, the breathing exercise. And in order for us to get to that space, we have to breathe correctly. And what I've noticed is most of us don't know how to breathe, do not breathe correctly. I know I don't. And so is that where we start learning how to breathe correctly in order to get to that space and get in that gap and keep the silence longer?
Definitely, that's the foundation of it all is, learning how to breathe properly. And then, like Sonia said, that is one of the precursors to being able to get to a meditative state is stilling mind. And you can do that through various breathing or pranayama practices. But yeah, the foundation is definitely learning how to breathe properly.
And I want to add something on to what you said, Atman and Sonia. This practice, Nancy, it is not one where your expectation is to go from 0 to 100. It may start off with okay, I'll sit down for 2 minutes, 5 minutes, take your time and be compassionate with yourself during the process. As you go, just like if you were to do anything, lifting weights, you're not going to go in and deadlift hundreds and hundreds of pounds. Start in the place that feels comfortable to you. And then consistently with your practice, you may choose to lengthen that time. And over time, notice that you have more space, you have more quiet in your mind. So I just encourage you with that.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. I also want to throw something out too, and I'd love for anybody to kind of offer some feedback on this. One of the things that I was taught and has seemed to work well for me, because Nancy, like you, lots of thoughts, lots of things happening. What I've done is a couple of things. One, I will do some physical exercise prior to me actually sitting still, or so maybe I'll go for a walk, or maybe I'll do some jumping jacks, or maybe I'll go for a run. The other one that I do that also really seemed to work well for me is I would write down a bunch of things that I knew were on the top of my mind. And I just wrote them down. So everything that I knew, I was like, whether it was an email, whether it was a phone call that's coming up in a half hour, like all these things, I would just write them all down. And I felt that in some way helped me get it out of me, to know that it was there so that I could actually have a better chance of release. And I don't know if any of you all have had other tactics or other things that you can share that have worked for you. That would be good to maybe help Nancy also try to get into a more quiet, accepting. She could actually, really have that thing and that mindfulness without all the. I mean, you're always going to have the ideas, but the thoughts. You're not going to remove them all, but that's helped me, and I don't know if other people have had other tactics that could help them.
Mario, the funniest thing about what you're saying is that you're pretty much doing your version of a traditional yoga practice leading you into meditation.
Yeah.
Because the asanas, like the postures in yoga, are to still your body so you can actually sit and meditate. So that's your movement. And then the pranayama is to still your mind so you can actually start to go to meditate so that you you may slow your breath down when you're writing, you may not, but you're clearing your mind out. So you gotta be able to calm your body down. So you can sit still. You got to be able to use your breath so you can slow your mind down, or something to slow your mind down, and then you can start to meditate. It's like whoever said the 0 to 100 thing. Like you're not going to go from 100 to 0 instantly. You got to start to slow yourself down. Once you know how to get there, you can get to a point where you can go from 100 to 0. Like that's. But when you're first starting off, you got to slowly start to pump the brakes and pump the brakes and pump the brakes to that spot where you can stop.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Great point. Tim, I saw that you had opened up your mic too, really quick. Tim, go ahead. John.
Oh, hey, everyone. Nice to be with you all. I'm a big fan of Holistic Life Foundation, and I teach mindfulness in schools. And just my suggestion with thoughts with mindfulness, thoughts are fair game as part of your meditation. Like you can examine the thought, notice the visualization, notice where it comes from, and as soon as you shine the light of awareness on a thought, it usually dissipates, in my experience. And then you can even go as far as to ask who is thinking. And that can be really deep as well. So their thoughts aren't a problem in meditation. They can actually be really useful to understand your habit patterns. So that's my two cents. So thank you.
I'd love to add a little bit to that as well. As something that I've found. I've been meditating for quite a few years. And one thing that I found that has been helpful, because what we don't realize is through the base emotions that we experience, there are thousands and thousands of thoughts that are connected to those base emotions. So once we, even in the daily walks of life, once we can kind of get comfortable and just be mindfully aware of the emotions that we experience without getting lost in them, and allowing ourselves to get comfortable with them and allow them to dissipate naturally as a natural byproduct of that, the thoughts, the beliefs, and everything that are attached to that base emotion dissipate on their own as well, with practice and through finding that comfort in those emotions. And I found that to be incredibly effective in also quieting the mind.
That's such a good point. I have,
yeah, thank you. Go ahead.
I want to piggyback off of what you said, Mario and Ali. This whole thing has been done before. We are not the first ones to wonder how to quiet the mind and how to tap into the physical and the non-physical. So if you are someone listening in the room who is just starting off and you're not sure how this works for you, I encourage you to find a teacher. Find someone that you can have help you stay accountable, guide you through the process, someone that has been there, someone that has a dedicated practice. And, there are teachers in so many places. There are teachers for free online. There are teachers anywhere. And what it does is that when we have a yoga practice, we're able to take what is being stored in the body. If you guys have ever heard the book, The Mind or the Body Keeps the Score, like literally when we interpret our thoughts, when we interpret the world around us, our body holds on to those things until we release it. It holds on to that energy until we release it. So that's why the physical asana, the yoga practice, has been such a key piece, so critical to the furthering of your practice as a, especially if you have lots of things stored up in the body. Now, there are places where people practice meditation, without any movement, and those are valid. And if you know that physically, if your thoughts are always wandering, and if you really feel like you need an anchor, working out some of those stuck the tight places, all the muscles, all the flexibility that you feel like you lost, that is literally tension and energy that you can work through in your physical yoga practice so that you can achieve the non-physical connection and the meditation aspects and the clearing of the mind. So if you're not sure where to start, find a yoga teacher and a meditation teacher. That might be the same person. It might not. Find that person online or close to you and begin your practice at your pace with your teacher.
That's great. Thanks for sharing that. Okay, so I want to reset the room just really quick, and then I want to make sure that I don't overlook other people that wanted to comment as well. So right now you're listening to a conversation with Ali, Atman, and the two brothers that have founded the Holistic Life Foundation. They created this foundation out of Baltimore City, and they have been doing this for 10 plus years. They've had tremendous impact to inner city youth as well as kids outside of the city, but also on metrics that range from everything from school suspension and retention to an increase in attendance, to increase in better grades, and to ultimately an increase in having kids turn into teachers themselves and instructors, teaching mindfulness, teaching yoga techniques, teaching deep breathing, and really changing how they're able to interact with others, how they can, better develop empathy, and how they better develop sense of self and sense of love for self, and how that ends up being a positive thing that's projected outward from them. And so about a lot of different things as it relates. Really, we were about the youth and how to reach them. And so now we were just talking about mindfulness and meditation in general. I want to make sure that everybody that's had a chance to speak, I'm going to go ahead and move you down back to the audience, only because we only have another 15 minutes with everybody. And I just want to make sure that I clear the stage just so I can make sure I get right people that still have yet to speak. And I really want to say thank you to everybody that's contributed thus far to the stage. Really appreciate all your thoughts. So now I'm going to go to Danielle. Danielle, did you have a question or comment?
Yes, I absolutely did have a question. And I feel like I'm in the right room to get that answer. And so, Mario, there's so many ways I want to connect with you on other levels outside of this. And Atman, I'm so glad that you did that exercise as well. So I just want to throw that out there.
Right? That is everything, right? Like I was feeling
yes, I'm like, that was midday. I wasn't expecting that, but I needed that. So, cool. But okay, but I know we're short for time, so I'll try to be as quick as possible. So I'm typically on Clubhouse for business, right? In government contracting, provide mentorship. Absolutely love what I do, okay? I'm a competitive person, and that's what government contracting is, right? It's competitive. And so, and I love helping people and seeing the results from it, going from not having a business to becoming a millionaire, and it's real. So my issue that I've always had, even when I first started out, in this industry, is that I am an extreme introvert. Very much introvert. And I have constantly practiced because I knew the only way you can be successful in business is that you're going to. And so I constantly push that barrier. Even when I started teaching and speaking in front of people, it was like a hot mess when I first did it, because it was like, oh my God, all these people, I can't deal with it. I had to learn how to network. I had to learn how to talk to people, because I was really that person that was so in my comfort zone to not have people in my space. You're too close to me. It made me uneasy. And the further people were away from me, I was good. But I've been in this for about 6 years, and I grew past that, right? You constantly have to push that barrier. I've been able to do public speaking and push and push and push. So my question now is, I go through these moments, even though I constantly push myself because I'm extremely ambitious, which is, two opposite ends of the spectrum. I'm competitive, ambitious, and I have a huge drive. But I'm battling with the introvert, right? And so there are moments where, even right now, business is booming, where it wears on me. It emotionally wears. And it's like I'm conscious of it. I try to meditate. I don't know if I'm meditating properly. I spent last year, with a lot of personal growth, saying, Danielle, prepare yourself for the growth, because the growth is happening, which means you're going to have to deal with more and more and more people. And so what do I do? The question is, what do I do when I'm in the midst of shutting down, right? That's it. I'm talking to people, and it's constant. Every day you're talking, or every day you're meeting, and then you feel yourself shutting down. And then I know people can see it, because it's like, okay, she's slowly going into rested bitch face, and I'm sorry, curse or anything, but it becomes pretty obvious, like, I'm shutting down on you right now, because this constant person after person after person, so I've meditated, I do the morning meditations, but what do I do in the midst, like any type of resolution, when you're in that moment where it's like you're shutting down because your energy handle the people all the time.
No, they got you.
Like I face.
No, look, trust me, they've heard this a million times, and I got something to say too, but I'm sure. I'm just, go ahead, Ali and Atman. I know you know exactly what this situation is like. So what can she do kind of midday, midnight, when these...
I think usually when you're in situations like that, you notice that because when you're stressed out, how's your breathing, Danielle? Like when you're stressed out, how's your breathing get?
I don't know, honestly. I don't think I'm that just in the middle of it. I mean, I can tell other people, like my partner, he would something like because he knows me, so that's different. You know, he knows me like the back of his hand, so he'll sometimes put his hand on me and be like, calm down, you're talking too fast. Like he can tell when I'm getting anxious and when I want to hurry up and just end something, or he says my whole energy changes.
Yeah, So when you are stressed out, I mean, next time take a look at it. I was wondering if you were even aware of your breath. But when you get stressed out or you get anxious, you get in a situation like that, your breath gets really, really short and shallow, and you're pretty much panting. If you can first be aware that you're doing that, and then slow your breath down to some really slow, deep breathing, like it just slows everything down. It takes the energy down a bunch of notches, so you can just be kind of there. And so your energy, because a lot of that energy sounds like you're burning off as well. It's not just the people around you, but it sounds like your anxiousness and the speed that you're going is burning off that energy too. So like if you can slow your breath down, you'll notice that you'll slow the situation down. You'll kind of conserve some of the energy. Another thing is like something like if you know that those situations get to you, like do something that grounds you before you go in there. Like it's different stuff for different people. It might be, for some people, it might be cooking. For some people, it might be certain music. For some people, it might be being out in nature. For some people, it might be working out. Whatever it is, like if you can find some time to ground yourself before you go into those situations and be aware of your breath, you'll notice that those situations will be a lot easier to deal with.
Okay.
Atman, you got anything you want to add?
Yeah, I mean, you can always do that breath that I was leading you all through, making the breath audible, holding on to the breath. Put your chin to your chest and exhale, bring your head up, making that breath audible. Because like I said, it's very beneficial when you have a lot going through your mind and taking you from being present, or you may be drained or something like that. It kind of, once again, pushes that reset button on your brain and leads you back to being present and grounded. So if you do happen to remember that breath, remove yourself from the situation, do it like 10 to 15 times, and you'll be charged right back up.
And I would just say, I would love to see you start to figure out how to schedule transitions. Like not just go from one thing to the next thing, to actually stop something and then recognize that as a transition, take in that moment to have a second break for yourself and use the breathing or gaze out at nature, like look up from the screen, like all these different things that you can do. But for me, it's recognizing the triggers. And for me, I'm very much like you. I was go, 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 move, move, move. And I felt like I could handle it, so therefore I was doing it. But just because I can doesn't mean I should. And so what I had to learn transitions. And so my transitions now, I mean, it's different now that we're in COVID, but one of my transitions was when I would come home, before I would leave out of the car, and then instead of just typically running into the you normally would, with whatever energy I'm just running into the house with, I would stop in the car. That was like my transition. Like, oh, I just took the keys out of the ignition. Trigger, sit here for 2 minutes before you go into the house. What's the energy you want to bring into your family? And so if you could just, as for me, that worked. So like we all been saying, different things work for different people. I'm sure Sonia and others may have some other comments, but I want to keep it in short essence of time. This won't be the last time I do this topic, so don't feel like we got to get everything accomplished in one seating either. I do think taking that breathing technique is powerful for you. And I do think that maybe you actually need to schedule in your calendar transitions, moments.
On that, in that room, this has been the Clubhouse Conversations with Alicia Dugar Stevenson. Thank you for joining.